Enzo grew up in his own house, feeling like a guest. Not hated openly, not loved quietly, just ignored. His father, Richard, was a strict man, respected outside, cold inside. To neighbors, he was responsible and honorable. Inside the house, his words were heavy and sharp, especially for Enzo. Enzo had two siblings. When they spoke, the house listened. When Enzo spoke, silence answered. If a family decision was made, school, money, travel, his father would say the same sentence every time. You have no matter in this house. The words were spoken calmly. That made them worse. Enzo studied hard. He helped with chores. He worked part-time to reduce expenses. One evening, he gathered courage. Father, he said softly, I want to continue my studies. I can help pay. Richard cut him off. You don't decide, he said coldly. You are not important in family matters. The room went quiet. Enzo felt something crack inside his chest. Relatives noticed. Why do you treat Enzo differently? One aunt asked once. Richard replied without shame, he should know his place. Enzo stood nearby and heard everything. That night, he stared at his reflection and whispered, Am I really his son? The breaking moment came during an argument. Enzo tried to defend his mother in a family dispute. Richard stood up, eyes burning. Stay out of this, he shouted. You are like a stepson here. You have no value in my decisions. The word stepson echoed. Enzo's hands trembled. Something died quietly inside him. That day, obedience. That night, Enzo packed nothing. He didn't plan to leave yet, but he made a promise to himself. If I don't matter here, I will matter somewhere else. He didn't want revenge with fists. He wanted revenge with importance. Enzo stopped arguing, stopped asking, started observing. He watched how power worked, how respect silenced cruelty. And slowly a dangerous idea formed. One day, my absence will be louder than my voice ever was. Enzo learned how to disappear. While still living at home, he spoke only when spoken to. He stayed out of rooms where decisions were made. He stopped expecting fairness. But Richard's cruelty didn't fade. It grew. Every mistake Enzo made was magnified. A broken glass, a late return, a wrong opinion. Richard would glare and say, You cost this family enough already. Enzo began giving his salary at home. Not once did his father thank him. Instead, You owe us. One afternoon, Enzo received a letter, a college acceptance, scholarship included. His hands shook with hope. He showed it to his father. Richard read it, then tore it in half. You will work, he said. Education is wasted on someone like you. The paper fell to the floor like a funeral note. That night, Enzo cried silently. When Enzo's mother fell ill, he stayed by her bed. Richard pushed him aside. Go, you're not needed. Even in sorrow, Enzo didn't belong. That was the moment he understood. This house was not home. It was a prison with blood ties. During a family gathering, Richard mocked Enzo publicly. He contributes nothing. Richard laughed. He thinks he matters. Relatives looked away. Enzo stood frozen. Then something unexpected happened. He smiled. That night, Enzo packed a small bag. No goodbye, no anger, only resolve. He left before dawn, not to escape pain, but to build power. The city was cruel but honest. No one called him useless without paying a price. He worked. He studied online. He saved every coin. Every insult from his father replayed in his mind fuel. The city didn't care who Enzo's father was. It didn't ask about blood. It only rewarded effort. For the first time in his life, Enzo felt something unfamiliar. Fairness. Enzo worked 3 jobs. Delivery rider by day, warehouse worker by night. Online courses after midnight. His body ached. His mind sharpened, while others slept. Enzo learned skills, finance, logistics, digital trade. He failed often, but every failure taught him one thing his father never did: how to stand alone. At small opportunity came. Enzo helped a struggling shop owner improve inventory and sales using simple digital tools. The results were immediate. Word spread. Soon, Enzo was consulting small businesses, quietly, humbly, effectively. Years passed. Enzo registered his own company. Nothing flashy but solid. He didn't post success online, didn't chase validation because the only person he wanted to impress had already rejected him. Back in his old house, things collapsed. Richard lost his job. Debts grew. Respect vanished. The same relatives who once laughed now stayed away. Richard blamed everyone except himself. One evening, Enzo received a message from his mother. Your father is struggling. He needs help. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just need. Enzo closed his eyes. Didn't feel anger. He felt clarity. Enzo didn't want shouting. He didn't want humiliation. He wanted recognition. Not as a son. As a man. He arranged a business meeting. At his father's workplace. Using his company's name. No family titles, just power. Richard sat in the small office. Shoulders slumped. The man who once ruled his house now waited for a meeting he desperately needed. His business was drowning. Debts circled like vultures. This deal was his last hope. The door opened. A young man in a clean suit stepped in, confident, composed. Richard didn't recognize him at first. Good morning, the man said calmly. I'm Enzo. Richard froze. He stared harder at the posture. The eyes, the voice, his throat tightened. Enzo, he whispered. Enzo nodded. No anger, no pride, just presence. Richard tried to stand straighter. You're the owner? He asked. Yes, Enzo replied. The company you're asking help from. Silence filled the room. Same man who once said, you have no matter now waited for Enzo. Decision. Richard cleared his throat. I didn't. No, you were capable of this, he said weakly. Enzo looked at him steadily. You never tried to. No. Richard lowered his eyes. I was hard on you, but it was for discipline. Enzo shook his head. No, it was rejection. Enzo placed the contract on the table. I will help your business, he said, but not as your son. Richard flinched. As a professional, Enzo continued, because that's what I became without you. Richard's hands trembled as he signed. Before leaving, Enzo stopped at the door. You once said I had no matter in this house, he said quietly. You were right. Richard looked up, wounded. I mattered somewhere else. And Enzo walked out. Richard sat alone. For the first time, he understood. He didn't lose Enzo because Enzo was weak. He lost him because he never made room for him. Enzo never returned home. He supported his mother quietly. He lived with boundaries. He built a life where no one had to beg to matter. He proved one truth. A child ignored becomes a man unstoppable.